Nancy?
Yes, please.
Oh, there you are. I can't get the lights on the back patio to work.
You ready? Come here.
Let me try it first, with you standing here.
Point it towards the tree. That's off, that's off. The top one. Yeah. Is your nail getting in the way? Mom, you're doing it like this. Don't do it like that.
Do it like that.
You want to use the meaty part of your finger to press down.
Okay. Let me try it. Try it this way.
You're too, Mom, you gotta do it with some.
No, it's not doing. Doesn't like me.
It's not that it doesn't like you, it's that you're.
The other one works for me up front, but it won't work for me back here. Oh, she's in.
Okay.
Tomorrow, I gotta get some fresh cut. I finished the last ones tonight.
Community Town Hall is happening now. Exclamation point. Log in, all are welcome.
Tea?
Yes, please. Could you pour it in here, but it needs to be rinsed out because there's coffee in there. Don't, whatever you do, don't drop and break that because that's my.
It's one of your favorite cups.
No, it's a mechanical cup that it keeps it hot. I may just finish this.
You better not.
Oh my God. That's so good. Yes.
See what she's waiting
Hey, Devin.
Hi there, how are you?
I'm good. So far it's just us chickens.
We're just on our drive, so I've got some time to kill.
Nice. At least 50 miles anyway.
Yeah,
Before the next recharge.
yeah, we got 32 miles until the next recharge, to be honest.
Well, let's see. Let's give it 5 minutes, right?
Yeah, I just sent texts out to the rest, just kind of reminding them.
Yeah, I just posted in the WhatsApp chat. Sorry, guys. Got to see Josie's butt. There she goes in the tree. Hey, Josie. Josie. Achoo. Bless you. Yes, bless you. In case anybody's wondering if that picture of Josie in the tree was set up. Now you know it wasn't.
Oh, let me see.
There she is. Josie. Yes. Josie. Josie. That's our girl. She's so precious.
Dave and Karen, I see a cat's making a visit in the camera.
Yeah. She was just in the tree.
Yeah, that's can't help that.
Nope. Yeah, she wants to run this meeting, I think.
Oh, that's fine. She can meow the whole time. Meow meow
Yep.
meow 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 meow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my cats love the Christmas tree too.
Yeah. She likes being up in the corner on top of the kitchen cabinet.
Yeah,
She's got a perfect view of the whole room from there. So I put one of her cat beds up there.
I have a
So,
cat that looks almost just like her. It's a little smaller though.
Hey, little one.
I was just up at the gatehouse checking on all the equipment and everything.
How's it going up there?
Traffic's slow right now. Polk County Sheriff's one car just came in, but they ain't stop and tell us what they were here for.
Mm.
So they came in, but there was only one car and he wasn't speeding or anything. So guessing it wasn't really an emergency.
I had some buyers in today. I took them on a tour of the clubhouse. They've been staying at Villatel for the past so many years, and so they want to. I took them to see other houses not in Villatel,
Yep.
but yeah, they want Villatel.
I don't blame them. The houses in
Mhm.
Villatel are gorgeous. I've been in a couple of
Yeah,
them, and they definitely next level. The
there's one of the
chandeliers.
13 bedroom homes. There are only 2 listings in Villatel right now,
Oh wow!
and one is a 6 bedroom home for 900,000. And the other one is a 13 bedroom home, 1,150,000.
Wow!
Yeah.
If
Hey,
only I had that money to live.
yeah, right. Hey, Joe, is it permissible for people to live in the homes in Villatel?
Uh, I'm gonna have to check on that because my understanding, which it's under a different cam, and they did just get rid of their general manager, which is the fourth one. But it is my understanding that it is not. It's my understanding that they can, that they sign a power of attorney over to Villatel and that it's then rented out almost. I don't know if it's like a timeshare type thing where you can go in and use your own space. I would assume so. Um, but even our CAM is not able to have access to the board of directors.
Yeah, I thought that it wasn't because I know you have to sign a power of attorney
Yeah.
in order to, oh, thank you so much. That you have to sign a power of attorney in order to, to own there. And that I know you have to use a specific, use their management for renting and everything. But I asked the listing agent, and the listing agent said, oh, yeah, you can live there. And I'm thinking, she gave me Aaron's phone number. So
Yeah. That's Harris. Yeah.
is Aaron still there?
Yeah, she's one of the few, but yeah, she still keeps making it through. So yeah, she's still around.
All right.
And I can send you Carol Reed's information. She's the cam.
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
great. I'm showing a home there tomorrow, and I'd like to know what the heck I'm talking about. But I was sure that you couldn't, but I could be wrong.
That was my understanding coming in as well. But again, I don't have their their sub association documents, so I could probably get them from our portal and read through them. But Carol would be the better one to go to on that.
Yeah, it's a quick question, unless unless they decide to move forward. But I don't know. You know, I don't know that they're $1,150,000 people. They're more $650 to $750,000 people. So, but we'll see.
They
We'll
sound
see.
like they're bad people to me.
Listen, right now I'm not $350,000 people, so I'm not gonna. There's a no judgment zone
If I
here.
had to look for a house all over again, I'd be in 300,000 people.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Like, dang, I just sold Connie's Connie's mobile home. So that was in that range. So, oh God, it's crazy. It's crazy what's happened.
So I did message everybody else. I've not heard back from them. So you could still, if this is being recorded and it'll be posted, so we can still proceed if you wish.
Okay, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Roll call. Joe, you want to lead us off?
Yeah, just Joe Bullins, general manager.
Karen Winker, Board of Supervisors.
Bobby Roychard, Board of Supervisors.
Devin?
Am I
Devin,
supposed
are
to
you
be
there?
introducing myself?
Yeah,
I'm
why
still
not?
here, yeah.
There's only 5 of us.
I'm just listening. It's Devin here, somewhere in Illinois.
All right, and we have somebody who called in. Who's that? Hello, who's listening in? You're muted. Let me unmute you. No, I can't unmute you. You've muted yourself. Whoever is on the, who's ever dialed in, do you want to unmute yourself and introduce? Nope. Okay. All right, I'm just gonna start in with the agenda. So first, we've got security and front gates. Bobby? Oh, they've unmuted. Hello, who's the call-in? Now, there's something wrong, something glitchy. All right. Bobby, you want to talk about the security and front gates?
Sure. So we're still monitoring the current situation, the influx of traffic, outflow, trying to make sure that our security officers match the number of officers that we need to manage the incoming, outgoing traffic and monitor the main center. We're still getting a lot of calls that we're directing to HOA as far as noise complaints and stuff of that nature to help with the rover. I know HOA has assisted recently, and they got some other patrol stuff going on they're helping out with, and stuff that I've seen recently out driving around. So they're doing a great job as far as that goes. The CDD, we've asked in the last meeting about enforcement actions on what we're allowed to do and what we can't do. And our attorney still says that, we can't ticket cars, we can't do anything besides tow. So our only option as CDD rovers, if we're on the road, is to tow vehicles. So we have to be mindful of what we can and can't do. It's all kind of by law. It's not, we can't make up what we want to do and go patrol. As much as I wish we could go knock on a door and say, hey, move your car at 6 in the afternoon, we just can't. So that's been a lot of the confusion recently in the WhatsApp chat that I'm seeing is, what CDD do versus what HOA do. a lot of these homeowners, if they just reach out to Joe, they reach out to myself, they reach out to someone from the HOA directly. That's something that can easily be resolved. You'll have a quick and accurate question instead of going down the chat and, starting a 20 comment thread. So if anyone has a direct security question, it's not going to be answered by me in the thread. If it's security related, feel free to reach out to me, call me, text Joe via his email address or the Solterra CS email address to get the proper answer. This whole going down the chat thing, it's not helping anyone in the community. It's just kind of causing more confusion. And we want a peaceful, happy community. We want everything to flow properly. And we're doing the best we can as far as the front gate. We're looking at moving it. If we can get the funds, we'll look at different equipment, different options, but everything costs money. So sometimes putting money into what we currently have isn't actually fixing the problem. So if we can move it, at the next board meeting, we're going to look at different options they present to us and hope for the best.
Right.
Bob-
So, just to let everybody know, Supervisor Neelam just joined us. So, Sam, do you want to say hi? Just say hi.
Hey, hi everybody. Hey, Bobby, a quick question. I think in earlier board meetings, we approved some $5,000, right? Is that ever materialized for you? Or those
We
funds
approved-
are you approved or used?
Yeah, so we approved 3,000. We used 2,000. I want to say about 2,300 of it. We did purchase 2 laptops, 2 printers, and a Wi-Fi extender. So that equipment is in use. It's programmed. Actually, Insight was just here getting that last printer up and running. So all that equipment that was purchased is in use. And so far, we're just waiting, I believe, for a cart or something. I have to check with Joe on that to get a portable station going for the circle. But that was something that we're working on to expedite the check-in process.
Oh, yeah. So one of the proposal that we heard at that point of time is, of course, Artemis suggested that proposal that they're going to use the ad hoc devices at a different locations. So this way they can move the traffic faster. Is that still in play, or are we still waiting on some funding to be approved, or an equipment to come? Where does that stand, or is it ever going to be happening or not?
So once the Wi-Fi system upgrade is completed, then we should have the Wi-Fi out in the circle, and that should extend the Wi-Fi of the whole area. So we'll be able to actually use that mobile cart that we're speaking of, that we have the computer for and everything. We'll be able to put that in service, and we'll be able to use that in the circle to expedite check-ins there on a mobile moving around the circle.
Yeah, that would be really cool, like a Chick-fil-A model, right? Is that the model that they presented?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be like a little wheelie cart with the laptop on it and the printer. And then we'll be able just to be in the circle. We haven't worked out if it's going to be staffed by security, if it's going to be someone from the clubhouse staffing. That's something that me and Joe haven't really gotten into as this point. But the cart and the Wi-Fi, once I believe next month the Wi-Fi will be in operation, so that there'd be a wide area. I don't know if Joe wants to speak on that at all.
Well, that'll give us a good amount of time to before what will hopefully be the spring rush, to get everything all ironed out. Joe, did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, no, I'll just briefly say, so at the last meeting, obviously you guys approved that electrical quote so that we could get that IPS set up. Once that's done, because everything else is in. So once we get that new sub panel in and the plug in, that will obviously put all the exterior WAPs on. And then like Bobby said, it really, I mean, obviously we'll just have it, when we have that outside, whether it is security or not, if we need to, we'll deploy security at that outside post, or we'll do inside staff, whatever we have to do to basically keep the line moving. And then from there, I think we'll start to see how that solution's actually working once a lot of cars come in and we're really kind of, you know, meeting kind of the demand of what the clubhouse can process and at the same time the front gate, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Bobby, one more question, if you don't mind me asking.
No, absolutely.
Thank you. This one, the funding that, whatever the little funding that is utilized for the laptop and all, does it make any difference so far? What is your opinion? Is it a good thing or bad thing? So this way we can kind of, enhance on that. That's my point. That's where I'm getting basically.
So the laptops that we're purchasing are Panasonic Toughbooks, which I utilized at the police department. They're made to kind of be dropped and tossed around and take a beating. So that's why we went with the used equipment versus the new from Proptier. It's about $1,200 for a tablet. And so far, the tablets that they've sold us do not work. Even after it was refurbished, the thing it does not suit our needs. It's like Chick-fil-A, but if Chick-fil-A had these problems with their tablets, they'd be out of business. So the used equipment that Joe is outsourcing and getting from Amazon is actually the computer itself was, I believe, $350 versus the $1,200, and the quality of it is, so far we've had zero issues with the used computers.
Awesome. So you're happy with that? Okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
I got no complaints.
that's awesome. So I think Joe, if you can kindly kind of see that if that is working, right, in terms of the movement of the security and the cars, whatever a little bit that is helped, we can basically add some more, at a low cost if possible. I know you guys are using the refurbished. That's fantastic, awesome. It saves ton of money, but if we can enhance that more to help Bobby and as well as security gate other stuff to move the traffic. So this way, when the rush hours comes, the rush months comes, at least maybe 10% improvement. That might be really helpful, I guess, because biggest complaint for us is from the community and the guests is like a traffic situation. So that's what I'm getting at. Joe, do you have any points or like, Bobby, if we can able to do that or not, if that helps us moving forward?
Yeah, no, for sure. And again, I'm not sure, in terms of with the savings, I had kind of gone back to Brian and said, hey, here's where we ended up at 2,000, as opposed to the 3 that was done. So if we need to expand, if we see that that it's functionally working and that we can do even better, then obviously at that point, if Bobby says, hey, let's do it, then we'll obviously check with you all and then proceed forward and procuring a few more, because again, they are low cost options to try to meet that demand.
Yeah, see that like, maybe a scientific approach of like, before and after effect. So this way, you can visually see statistically also, you can kind of figure out how it worked or if it worked in any way in terms of your enhancements. Okay.
Okay.
Yep,
And I
that's
just
about
wanted
it.
to add, I just wanted to add something with regard to security. And I do want to address anybody who's Trisha, you're on the line, and Devin, you're on the line. We do understand the concerns about security, and as a first step, Bobby's taking a number of first steps, but also our security vendors and management is going to be meeting with Deputy Pastor and representatives from crime prevention to define what support they can provide, and to get guidance on how to make the strongest use of the resources that we already have in place. That's going to help us to set clear expectations and build a more effective response moving forward. And with that, am I okay to wrap up on security and front gates?
Absolutely. Unless anyone has any questions, I am golden with that.
Okay. Next up is amenity center and cafe updates. Thank you so much, Bobby. And thank you, Sam and Joe. So amenity center and cafe updates. Debbie's not on the call, so I can share a little bit of what what's going on. Some people may, most people won't notice, but the playground has been shut down, and there are some issues with it that it's just not viable any longer. So, Joe, can you say when that's actually going to get dismantled?
We don't have the dates in yet. We had done our own inspection shortly thereafter. I believe a homeowner had actually come in and taken photos as well. So it kind of ran, I guess tangential to what we were doing. But so we had done our own inspection, and then when Aegis came out this week to look at a number of other things, that's your insurance provider. Yeah, they agreed. They said, yeah, you're either gonna have to replace this whole thing, and they said, but in the meantime, you're gonna need to cordon it off or take it down. Obviously, taking it down is the only real way that we can ensure that somebody doesn't jump a fence and try to get on it and then do something like that. So we'll be working with maintenance to try to get a date to dismantle that portion and kind of remove it as a hazard.
Right. And we've thrown out some ideas of what we could use that for. So that space isn't, once it's dismantled, so it's not just being, just a big sand pit. Um, and and a couple of things that have come up were, until we, and maybe it ends up staying this way, but until we can come up with a solid plan for it, we can actually use that space for events, for weddings or parties on the sand, kind of like a beachy sort of thing. We can put a platform there. We can for movies like beach, picnic kind of movie nights. We can do hold a luau there, have some Hawaiian dancers, fire eaters, and that kind of thing, and maybe do a little buffet. That might, if we can do some events there, or even offer catered events for guests or homeowners, that could also help to drive revenue into the cafe and use that space on the side. Um, and and does anybody have any questions about the playground or any suggestions for the playground? Nope. Okay, let's move right on down. So the
Hey,
fire.
Karen,
Yeah.
just a quick question. If you're talking about the front portion about the volleyball court, is
No,
that the point?
that's
No,
not
okay,
what I'm
that's fine.
talking about. There's
Okay.
actually a whole playground unit there, with a jungle gym and all of that kind of stuff, and
Okay.
that is no longer physically viable, and our insurance has said, yeah, keep people off of that, keep people out of there.
Yeah.
So, and dismantling it is the only way forward at this point, the only safe way forward. So once we dismantle it, we're just going to have a big sand pit there until we determine a really good use for it. Even when the playground was, great, it was never really used. It's probably one of the most underused amenities we have. So I'd rather see if we could try to monetize that and make it something interesting. We can use it for events, for birthday parties, things like that, or we can hold community events like luau's where, feet in the
Yep.
sand and
Got it.
that thing. Right.
Yep. No worries. Thank you.
You're welcome. So any other questions about the playground area or any other suggestions? Nope. Okay. So now we'll move on to what you were asking about, Sam. In the front area where we have the volleyball court, there are a few things that I'd like to address for that. This is more or less in landscaping and pond, or kind of bleeds over into my side, but um, or should I just continue talking about the things that have to do with strictly Debbie World Amenity Center and Cafe?
I guess we can wait until whenever she's, we can discuss
Yeah,
that even at the time of a board meeting. I think
yeah,
we can stick to
okay.
what is, yeah.
Well,
Because we don't want to get into any ethics issues here, so that's
Right.
why.
So I'll just talk about the landscaping for right now in front of that section. Well, actually, you know what? Um, Joe, you met with Aegis this morning. Do you want to talk about what they discussed about some of the amenity items like the fire pit and and the hot tub, and the location and all of those things? And the
Sure.
sidewalk?
Yeah, I can broach on it
Okay.
quickly. Initially, we were going to, excuse me. Initially, we were meeting with them. It was actually yesterday, but we were meeting with them to discuss just the viability of a fire pit, what that would look like. What do we need? Do we need a camera, monitoring? What things would we need, obviously, to lower exposure and things like that. But they also mentioned that they hadn't been here in years, and so because of that, your carrier came along with your broker and said, "Hey, let's just kind of do like a whole site inspection," which was, not previously planned, but was helpful. They pointed out a lot of stuff. So a lot of the signs need to be updated with some new verbiage. Um, they looked at kind of the lazy river. They looked at the plan that you guys kind of already, were looking at in terms of redoing that. Talked about some additional signage that we could do for things like that to lower exposure as it relates to the fire pit. The idea is at present where it would potentially go if it was something that you guys wanted and moved forward with would be back behind the hot tub as in route to the lazy river. Probably on the left side there because you don't have a ton of tree cover and you definitely don't want a fire pit that's going up into the trees. And these trees are mature enough, but not too much so that they're going to grow into that space and you have to cut them back every single year. They're hardwoods. And so there's not really the risk for that. They were all for it. They offered, they're going to send us a list of what they would do just to make sure, that we remediate risk, which is, again, an automatic, shut off valve, things that you would expect with gas. You actually have a gas meter within about 30 feet, and that's for your pool heaters. And so they said it'd be very easy to run a secondary line there, and would be very cost effective. Then you could add some Adirondack style but again, the theming and how you guys decide to do it's completely up to you. So they're definitely pro it and don't believe that it would be expensive to kind of add on to the insurance should you all decide to do that. And then they talked about the front area, some of the ideas that you guys have had for revamping that, sports courts, things like that. They're big fans of that. They see it at other resorts. They talked about a number of things. One of the questions I had for them was very much about how your insurance related to, and I'm sure I don't want to go too far as it relates to food and bev because you guys will eventually have that insurance that the district's working on. But they did talk about, special event insurance because I started mentioning things like when the pool does eventually shut down for its resto, if we're bringing anything from the outside to kind of work in tandem, with the lazy river, what type of insurances should we have in order to make sure everybody's covered? And that's where, they mentioned special event insurance, and that's for anything, bringing food trucks, bringing some sort of, giant water slide that's inflatable, that's, is somewhere up in the front. So it was a good conversation. That'll be a report that I will forward on to the Board of Supervisors in the district. So I definitely won't speak for them, but it was a good walk and they had a lot of really good points and ways to kind of really delve into risk management. So that'll be kind of on the table for the board to look at soon.
Okay. And with
Joe, that
regard,
is,
go ahead.
no, go ahead, Karen. I will follow after.
Okay. Well, with regard to the sports court idea around the volleyball, turning that in and all of that, putting in the bocce and they were pretty positive on that as well. So so it looks like we're getting green light on all of that stuff, on all the stuff that we've been talking about from our insurance carriers. They love the vibe. Is that a fair characterization, Joe?
Yeah, no, they love the vibe, and they love the vibe. They love working with y'all, but they're definitely, they're definitely insurers, so they're coming in and they're seeing and they're pointing out, and that's exactly what we need. And they said, we don't want to be all up in your face. And I said, well, look, I said we've seen such transition with Artemis in, Rosetta in. I said now is the time, to do that. So be as critical as they need to be, so that we can make sure that obviously we are, heavily mitigating that risk.
Right. And in terms of getting that sign installed on the waterfall, I guess, it's being fabricated, but before installation can happen, we've got to get a quote on the waterfall to be cleaned, and get that going so that when it's installed, pardon the pun, but it's a clean install. And 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 so everything seems to be moving forward, in Debbie's world, and then I guess, and then you wanted to say something, Sam, before I move on to landscaping?
Yeah. Hey, Joe, two questions. One related to insurance, the other one related to the security, like in a camera. You mentioned something about, is that what you mentioned, or I heard someone else talking about it? Camera installations.
Yeah, so I'd mentioned that in terms of monitoring for the fire pit as kind of an add-on. Yeah.
Is that legal?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah. So
This
while I
is
can't,
public property. It's
yeah,
not like somebody's backyard pool.
Joe,
yeah,
please
and
continue.
yeah, and access to that's very limited. This is something where, like, again, guardhouse, you pay for and have monitored security as well, and that's to make sure that, for example, when the gym is in use, if somebody tries to exit through that back door and try to use the pool at night, it automatically notifies me and everybody else. So yeah, it is encouraged, actually. Now it doesn't have audio, but it is encouraged. Yeah,
That's all shade stuff and shouldn't be talked about at this
yeah.
time.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Oh, okay.
Where we
That's
have
good.
cameras and all of that is,
The second question related to the insurance, right? So you mentioned something about special events, but the things that we are even contemplating of doing, whether it is a fire pit or a slide, these are all permanent fixtures, right?
Correct.
So they don't come under a special event uh, fixtures or structures. So
Correct.
I don't think that applies. Like basically when they underwrite this as a fully installed equipment or structure, and then they underwrite accordingly. Is that a fair understanding?
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, okay. Like, have they given you any kind of broad range codes or anything like that in terms of the dollar value?
They've not, because again, you have they gave me a list. I can provide you with the printout they gave me. It was basically a breakdown of what you already have, that's covered in kind of those values. There's certain things they want us to do, and send their way so that they can kind of tweak that a bit. They want the linear footage of the fence because they're fairly certain that was under established. So we got to go measure that out, get them a new site plan, which fortunately we just did it, with the architectural plan for the F&B. So yeah, we can get that to them.
guys, I'm going to ask, because we only have 24 minutes left and we're not even halfway through this. So let's not get deep in the woods if we can. If we can come back, if we have extra time at the end to get into the woods in some of these conversations, then we can come back to it. But I'd like to kind of blow through and get to each topic, hit each topic at least lightly. The only thing that I've got to talk about with regard to landscaping and pond updates would be in front of, in my world, is in front of the volleyball court, where we presently have those cypress Those poor, beautiful cypress are just not cutting it there. And while I hate to mow them down, it doesn't look like even saving them is a possibility and relocating them. But what we've come up with is a really nice rendering whereby we would be creating a soft barrier using landscaping material between the volleyball court and the street, a hedge behind it, and with crepe myrtle spaced, every so many feet, like maybe every 10 feet, to have a crepe myrtle, and in between the crepe myrtles, or at the base of the crepe myrtles, having those palms, those low-lying palms that don't die. They seem to thrive no matter where in the community we put them. And then in between them, putting in bougainvillea, which also do extremely well and are both drought resistant and cold hardy. And they bring a pop of color in there. The other thing is, and it would save for if anybody happened to hit the ball out into the street, nobody's going to go running through there and get hurt. So that's the idea for that. We are getting, let me check on this updates. I think we're getting for the benches, by the next meeting, I think we're going to have, what was this? Da, da, da. Yeah, we need oh, I don't see it here, but I think that we need to get a quote for a base for each of the park benches to actually be secured into the ground. So, there's no possibility of somebody leaning back and, it falling back and cracking their head open. So we're getting quotes on how to.
Typically, that would be a cement pad, like
Yes.
a 4 to 6 inch cement pad that spans the length of the bench, and then you would either tap con or bolt it down into that.
Correct. But we need to get quotes on those slabs, which I think, Joe, you're getting those prepared for the next meeting. Do you think we'll have them by then?
Yeah, we have 2 so far. We just we want to get 3, but yeah.
Okay.
Would
All
it
right.
be
Yeah,
possible
quotes for the
to
bench pad.
tie the pads into when they do the sidewalk so that the pads could be poured at the same time as the sidewalk?
Well, they're not necessarily going to be where the sidewalk is, but yeah, maybe the same vendor would say.
Yeah, I mean, if they goes wheelbarrow over a couple barrels of cement just to make that pad, because it's not going to be very wide.
Yeah. Good idea.
Yeah,
So,
I'll link them in.
yeah, since they'll have the cement mixers on site anyway, maybe we could, squeeze that in there somehow. And so the sidewalk is gonna start as soon as all of the pre-work is done, and then once the sidewalk is in, then we'll work on the whole idea of the landscape barrier between the boulevard and the volleyball court. And then from there, we can work on the turf surround and the sports court ideas and all of the things around, the other amenities around that. And then in each of the 4 corners, the idea is also to have, those big concrete round tables and benches with, our signature blue umbrellas. Maybe we can even get Solterra written on the umbrellas to discourage their walking away. Nice place for people to sit outside, picnic while they're waiting for their shuffleboard court, or playing bocce, or waiting to get on the volleyball court. The other thing was that gravel pit in front. Once the sidewalk is in and that work is done, is also layering over that the same kind of astroturf with some picnic tables there. So people who aren't inclined to eat from the cafe and want to, but don't want to go home to eat, can sit outside and under an umbrella in a proper table and eat there and just basically enjoy what's going on out there. And that's all I've got for landscaping, unless somebody has any questions. Nope. Okay. Sam, it's turned over to you. Budget, vendor, and technology updates.
I'm like not much, whatever we discussed last board meeting. But when it comes to the specifics about the allocation of the fund, not the allocation of the funds, like cutting the funds, I saw some payments have been issued and ratified after. They are not emergency funds. I think that needs to be properly discussed, maybe in the upcoming board meeting. I know there is up to $5,000 or something like that. The board chair can kind of like utilize the funds, but it is, I went back and checked the bylaws this week. It clearly stated that it is only for the emergency use, not for anything else, not the Christmas lights or anything like that. And that needs to be thoroughly discussed. Other than some pipe broken, which needs the immediate fixture, need to be paid ASAP, and we understand that. But when it comes to any other expenses which are not in nature of an emergency, needs to be discussed before at the board meeting. We have a great team. They can basically put together the numbers quickly and then present to the board. So this way we can approve beforehand rather than ratifying it later. That is only one concern that I have when it comes to the budgets and the how we are utilizing the funds. Other than that, technology, anyone has a question there?
Yeah, I have a question, well,
Right.
a comment about the budget. So in previous board meetings, and Bobby, you can speak to this because you were on the board with me at the time, we did open things up and establish through council, district council, that we could have a certain amount of funds available to use on a discretionary basis, because we were getting stuck in the mud and not getting things done for minor things that we wanted to get done. Because we have to wait meeting to meeting, and then sometimes we wouldn't have quorum, right? And so then things wouldn't happen for months and months. And homeowners were very agitated about it, and understandably so. So it's not only for emergency use, like a pipe breaking. It's also for there's a certain amount which could be used as discretionary funds, and this happened a long time ago. So.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, that's a long time ago. I think we are, you mentioned a couple of times in the board meetings, and as well as the town halls also, we have now the effective board in place. We are monitoring every penny, and according to your own statements, I think we can effectively kind of do this in a more processing manner rather than giving too much discretionary powers to the one individual or a group of individuals. So we can easily ratify because the quorum is there at least most of the time. At least like since May I have seen. We missed we haven't really missed anything. But anyway, it is not our money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for you to bring that up at a board meeting, and we can vote on it again. From my vantage point, I think that we ran up against this before, and it was miserable, and I'd rather personally not revisit that misery. We have management in place that we know, that we trust. We're not talking about $10,000 or some ridiculous amount of money, but I don't think we need to micromanage them. And they are reporting to us and telling us what they've done or what they're doing or what they're planning on doing. But everything does not need to be voted on, does not, in my opinion, well, as it stands right now, every little thing does not need to be voted on. And I kind of prefer it that way because I'm of
Yeah,
the
that is your
mindset.
opinion, Karen. I definitely
Yes,
respect your
exactly.
opinion, but
And the opposite is
like
your
this
opinion.
is my
But
opinion.
what
When
I'm
it comes
saying,
to
exactly.
it's not your money, it's not our money. We need to, other than the emergency funds, it has to be
Okay,
properly discussed and
but
ratified. Okay,
but
we can bring
Sam,
it up.
this
Listen,
is the way
Karen,
it is
every
now
time like
because
discuss. Listen to me.
Sam.
It is not your way all the time. You got to shut up
Holy
sometimes.
smokes, can you guys stop? Sam, you're so
Yeah.
rude. Please, this is a public forum. You don't need to
I
lose
know,
your
I know.
marbles.
I'm speaking as a homeowner, as a supervisor, and I understand that your
You know what?
frustration, and
Listen,
also you
I'm
also have
also
to
a
understand
homeowner, but you
my
don't need to
yes,
yell
absolutely. I
at our
respect your
fellow.
opinion too. I respect your opinion too, but cutting off when someone is talking, it's not ideal. So I'm safeguarding our own money. Okay, I'm
Sam,
safeguarding our own money. So when a
Sam,
valid
you
point
have your
comes,
opinion, but you cut me off.
no,
If you
you cut
review
me
the
off
tape,
when I'm discussing, you cut me off initially. That's why I have to let you cut you off. So you need to let the other person finish the thought process. And
let me know when you're finished. Sam.
I'm clearly stating that because it is not our money, it is a people money. It's a simple thing. It's a very logical. So if emergency funds, yes, we can. If it is non-emergency funds, it needs to be properly discussed. It doesn't matter whether it is $100 or $1,500, $2,000. That's my opinion. I respect your opinion. This is my opinion. Okay?
Are you done? I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, Sam, that is your opinion. The fact is, right now, we have already voted on that as a previous board. And the vote was because of the quagmire and because of how long it was taking and the frustration of the community whose money it is, and whose amenities they are, and whose property it belongs to. It was agreed, and quite happily so, that we would allow district management and amenities management to have a certain amount of discretion so that they're not being micromanaged and so that we can actually have the ability to move. And so that is the fact of how it is now. If you would like to change that, Sam, because that is your opinion that you would like it to be different, then please, by all means, bring it up at the board meeting and we will vote on it. That's simple.
Absolutely. Thank you. We'll do that. Okay?
Okay, now you wanted to go on with vendor and technology updates.
Nothing much on that.
Devin, your hand is up. Did you want to talk?
No, I'll let Sam finish what he has to say.
Okay.
I know when it comes to the technology front, nothing much moved from the past to now. Of course, I would like to revisit the Proptia software because it does have some kind of a deficiencies. Maybe that is how the software is written. That's how it functions. However, I would like to kind of take a look at it, but we haven't really got there yet. Other than that, the technology that the Rigetta is using phenomenally great. I've seen their software when it comes to itemizing everything. It's really working great on that front. Budget we already discussed. Other than that, nothing additional new happened since last time we spoke.
Okay. All right. So online review, financial and future development updates. Joe, do you want to take this?
Yeah, no, I mean, I can. In terms of primarily just online reviews, as with anything, it's been a slower season, so the reviews have kind of been dribbling in here. For the most part, still seeing a lot of five-star reviews. There've been a couple little 1-stars. We do respond back to those. A lot of them are still based off the units themselves and not the amenities. So where possible, we do, acknowledge, empathize, and then just say, if you're willing, could you kind of, would you consider coming back and actually reviewing the amenities themselves versus the individual home? That's something we'll continue to work on. I've sent some stuff Sam's way, and I will continue to work with him because he and I we're going to work pretty heavily on the survey process. Part of that was also going to intermix with F&B, so that kind of took the foreground. But we definitely, I've got some all the survey forms and stuff are there and ready, to go, and that can kind of kick off once we have all the new POS and whatever we're deciding to do with amenity to kick forward. And I think that'll really kind of launch us into kind of a new realm of kind of guest and owner feedback, which I think, and speaking with Supervisor Neelam and you all, seems to really kind of you want to target, not only to inform your own decisions, but just in general. So the resort is getting some really great feedback.
Yeah, in terms of the feedback, I'm touring future homeowners pretty frequently through the clubhouse, or, people who are considering becoming future homeowners. And I can tell you that from a year ago to now, or even 6 months ago to now, I never knew what I was going to be met with when I walked in. And now it's like, oh my gosh, everybody is so welcoming, so hospitable. Everybody's smiling and nice and friendly. I mean, really, it's wonderful. And people that I toured the amenity center today were just so thrilled, and they're thrilled about, I told them what we're doing with the cafe, and they're just over the moon about it. Brought them back to the lazy river, which was completely empty. They couldn't believe that the pool was as busy as it was. And, isn't it too cold for people to get in the pool? And I said, well, the pool is heated. And they were like, wow, really? I said, yep, it's heated. So it's beautiful. Florida in December, that's what people come here for. And then when we walked back to the lazy river and there was nobody in it, I said, yeah, it's not heated. So I said, that's something we're working on. And if it does happen, it's going to happen, I think, in September. And they were just over the moon about it. They were really happy, and they left the amenity center, and I'm looking for a property for them. So, here in Solterra. So it's, I think what's happening, what's coming along there is just really, really nice. They love the idea of the rosemary and the herbs and the thing about, having the fruit trees and things like that. They just thought it was really cool that our perspective is of this as a resort, as a business, and as a nice lifestyle. So that's it. That's all I have to say about future direction and development. People are enjoying it, and the feedback has been great from the public. Okay, any other comments? Anybody out there? Questions, answers? Trisha, I see you there. Keith, any thoughts?
I did have one more comment that I forgot on the front gate update.
Oh, cool, Bobby.
I did speak to Jay Jarvis at Polk County Traffic Engineering. He oversees all the signage, the roadways, and stuff like that. He did indicate that the sign that we've been requesting for almost 2 years now would actually be in place for a left turn only and the right lane to remain straight. So he said he was going to install that sign. There was no ETA or even an approximate date given as far as when that would happen, but it was a request of multiple homeowners that I can now say has been approved, but with no ETA on the installation.
Okay, well, progress. Little baby steps. Thank you, Bobby. Do we have any other community questions and answers? We've got 3 more minutes. Okay, I guess with that, we are, I'm ready to adjourn. If nobody's got any other questions or things, and then I guess we'll see y'all oh, remember the 20th. On the 13th, we have Santa and cookies for the kids. And on the 20th, we have the homeowner cookie exchange. So, so check out the calendar, and hopefully we'll see everybody there. That's about it. Welcome
All
back,
right. Well,
Devin.
thanks everybody.
Devin, welcome back any day now.
Thank you.
You all have a good night.
Have a good night.
Take care, everybody.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.